So today I'm going to be going over how to hoop a dad hat. I've done videos on structured caps before, but dad hats sometimes require special things to do to them. In theory, they're the same, except these have the added challenge of being unstructured. So sometimes you have to clip them in the back, but I'm going to go over this quickly. Now, there's a few things you're going to need to stabilize these hats. You're going to need a roll of 3-ounce stabilizer, some scissors to cut your stabilizer, and some clips. You can find these at Dollar Tree. You're going to need to cut a piece of about 5 to 6 inches of stabilizer. Now, the reason I like 3-ounce stabilizer is because it gives the hat structure while you're embroidering it. If you use something more flimsy, like say this 1-ounce stabilizer, it's not structured enough to keep the hat stable. And it's more prone to wrinkling while you're embroidering, and it can ruin your hat. So I find that 3-ounce is the best weight, and I'll link it in the description, but I got this off Amazon. Now we're gonna go to our hat hoop. Your hat hoop might look different than mine. Some people like to load their hats with this piece facing out. I like it this way. I find it easier to do. But if yours is facing the other way, we're doing the exact same thing. You're just facing one way and I'm facing the other. So load your hat hoop. Rest your piece of stabilizer right here in between this plate and your hoop. Always check the inside of your hat. Make sure you don't have the cardboard backing in here. And then fold your sweatband out. Just gonna load it. Make sure the snapback goes behind the frame. Bring your arm around. And this part, always make sure that you're latching your hat with these teeth between the bill and the crown. So you're going to see this transition right here. So this transition is where you want your teeth to grab. So once you do that, bring your arm around to make sure you're in the center line, and then secure the hat by latching it. So this should not wiggle, this should not be loose, this should be nice and firm right here. Now you're gonna notice there's wrinkles in my hat, and that's generally okay. Because these are unstructured, you're gonna have some wrinkles in here. Now if the wrinkles really concern you, you can use these clips, and you can either clip one side or both sides. Sometimes I just do one side, but be careful not to over tighten the hat if you're gonna use these clips. If you over tighten, sometimes that can lead to warping. And your design, like say if you have a circle, it can warp the circle and it can become an oval because you're overstretching it. So if you are going to use these clips, just lightly put it on. So don't overstretch your hat because you're going to warp this. Some hats are more prone to warping than others. 47 brand are generally pretty good about not warping, but again, remember, if you're going to use these clips in the back, generally you're going to use 2. So one on here, one on here. And you're gripping them to this arm right here. Just make sure to not over tighten it. And so your hat, if you've hooped it properly, your hat should look like this. So this part is loose, and you're only clipping the bill right here. Notice, yes, there are still wrinkles here, and that's completely fine. That's normal because your presser foot is gonna take care of flattening it out. So this is what my hat will look like before I load it on. Now we're using needle 1 right now because we're doing black thread. And then always trace your design out before you make it. Make sure you're not hitting your plate right here. And this design's a little too high, so I'm just gonna lower it. And then I'm gonna retrace just to make sure I'm not hitting anything. I always center to your needle as well. I always like to bring my presser foot down. And here's my needle, and here's the seam. So you can see it's off a little bit. So we're just gonna bring our hat to the right a little bit, and now it's perfectly dead on center. Now, if your foot gets stuck right here, you can just simply change to another needle. So I'm switching to needle 2, the foot goes up, and then I just go back to needle 1 again. So now it's not stuck in that down position. Now you'll notice on my hat, I'm only clipped at the bottom on one side and not the other. This is personal preference. You can clip both sides. Again, remember, just do not overstretch your hat because it can lead to warping. So I just find that lightly, see this is loose, I'm not stretching it and then pinging it, I'm just letting the fabric loose. You're almost floating the hat in a way. Once your hat is loaded and centered, you're ready to hit start and your hat will begin embroidering. Now while this hat embroiders, I'm going to make a note of it and say it's really important for your digitizer to digitize your hat bottom up, center out. If they don't do that, your hat again will be very prone to warping. So especially on these dad hats. So always make sure that your digitizer has digitized it properly so that you don't run into any issues when you're doing these. All right, so if you did everything correctly, your hat should look something like this, hopefully. Notice that there are still wrinkles at the bottom, and that's fine. That's normal for these types of hats. As long as you don't see any warping on your design, you're fine. So we're just gonna take the hat off the hoop now. And our inside looks really good. You always want to make sure that your tension is set correctly so you're seeing thirds. This one's a little more than thirds, but it's fine because we're not showing any bobbin outside. Again, tearaway stabilizer, you just rip it out. If you have any loose threads, you can either use snips and cut them, or I like to use a lighter. So you just quickly burn them. And it cleans up the hat really nice. But either method works just fine. And then if you have any loose threads at the front, you can also quickly just burn them. And now you should have a perfectly usable hat. So hopefully it looks good, something like this. Now again, just as a reminder, always tell your digitizer that your design is for a hat. Many times a design that is digitized for a flat will not work really well for a hat design. There's different techniques to both, so keep that in mind. But if there's anything that you think I didn't go over in this video, leave questions in the comments. And if you found this video helpful at all, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.